Hello, I'm Richard Millett, the one and only. And this is the quarantine stream, I believe, the 24th. I have to check with the keeper of records. At any rate, we're here at a very special time at 6 p.m. And let us begin with the beautiful, lovely, evergreen quarantine stream theme, shall we? Ah, beautiful. Hope you're all doing okay out there. I did not write this. It was written by a great man many years ago, about a half century ago. It's called Child Star. Mountain eyes peeping out of his head, sipping tea, composing in his bed. 100 hands working on a musical of old, Debussy and Mendelssohn, Handel and Dvorak of old. Child Star, protege of Mr. Gormez, who said you'd go far. Child Star, they do not see just what a precious gem you'd be. Sad to see them watching you fade into invisibility. 12 years old, your elvish fingers kiss your Beethoven hair. The awesome people stare, they're unaware of all the angels' sounds they see and hear. Debussy and Mendelssohn, Handel and Dvorak of old. Child Star, protege of Mr. Gormez, who said you'd go far. Child Star, and when you died at just 13, they wept and wrung their hair. Sad to see them mourning you when you were there, within the flowers and the trees. This is something that I wrote. It was called Flowers at the Foot of the Cave. Swinging light bulb above a cracked basement window, a painting depicting the creation of creation in a makeshift bed. I made up a new name for you that I'll only keep in my head. My head. Look at the jewel resting in the bottom of the wooden cup. The stack of handwritten sheets explaining the steps of the ritual in rich, deep red. And the names of everyone there exist in my head. My head. Charcoal renderings of saints ripped from a magazine and pinned to the door. Dented bits of metal shaped to make a mosaic and pushed into the floor. Quarter-inch thick spray-painted silver ribbons looped like ringlets in the air, and the floating stray white veins from a feather landing on your hair. Here I sit, half childish, with freshly washed clothes strewn over the chair. A tray with orange peels, melon rinds, and empty glasses rests balanced on the table's edge, while I'm reading a map leading to a room more colorful than the womb, where I can overhear things other than gurgling and organs rushing. But still, this will always be in its infancy, because love is where Genesis greets infinity, and for proof you can look in my eyes, even though I won't confirm or deny how much of this is true, but I trust that will get worked out by you. It's called When I Look. When I look and walls are in the wind, when I see you're unsure how to begin, I promise soon you'll be laughing, with friends in open gardens clapping. When you see, you remember every dream. So we find it's simple to forget. So you find that you are very blessed. Through windows at sunset silently, faces meet your eyes, smiling serenely. So you find you remember every dream. And you try imagining all things beyond eyesight, in air, over our celebration, beneath streets unknown, untouched 40 fathoms deep, too far to reach. When I look and talk to you, I know. When I see, you will never be alone. The mirror reflects a statue, lilac bush and bee, and we agreed feelings create reality. When you see, you remember every dream. In a near eclipsing, absorbing, transmogrifying wood, water, and sand, pushing till the horizon is vanishing, scraping outer limits, distant and away. Called Silver Lace. Never let it be said that the book won't be read, or that the candlesticks will be thrown out. That's like asking about your blankets and what became of them. Were they left in an alley, or boxed and lent to a friend? Never let it be said that the chickens won't get fed, or that the evening coffee will run cold. That's like thinking the traffic lights will never turn red, or that the wire will run out before you get to return home. I'm looking at a book of photographs by Robert Frank, size cut in half. Some maps people never thought to make, some paths people never thought to take. When Berkeley was originally settled, the center of town was marked with a church and a bank. Some people never think to give thanks, or wonder if they may be wrong. I still have the cassette you made, decorated with black magic marker and duct tape, though the sound cuts off in half the songs. Never let it be said that your sister will stay unwed, or that the scissors are no longer sharpened. That's like thinking the sun will never outshine the moon, or that the heat of the spring only lives in the swell of the afternoon. What are we doing out there? Doing okay. It's called The New Nature. We know what we've seen, so much more water falling from the sky, making miniature lakes out of puddles and forming little rivers and gutters. New homes being built where the mudslides ran, down the hills quenching the forest fires. So many new islands and bays for animals to gather together, standing on one foot. New games being played as new trees emerge in marshes and parks form over landing strips. We know what we think about it. Never desecrate the body, never poison the water supply, never bathe in insecticide. See and think. Never barter for bacteria. Never throw poison down the well. Never desecrate the body. In a glass sink, the water can start to build its own walls and divide its own chromosomes. In a glass shower, the nozzle calcifies the water and organizes the deposits into clear lines. On a glass floor, spilled water pulls away from itself, towards the centers, towards the door. On a glass ceiling, the water can reform into pointillistic droplet paintings. We know what we see and what we think. It's called Milky Skies. For 3 weeks, I've seen the sky as one color stretched over a muted spectrum, and I've heard tiny handbells clang at irregular intervals. Without forethought, I was in a state of unstable concentration, my sense of decency tested. I stared at celeste-colored veins and remembered how they were made. I was reminded of the worm, thankful to be placed back in the dirt after suffering a 2-inch gash on its side from careless shoveling. The youngest lady stops weeping and waiting and steps into invisibility, her velvet-lined pockets filled with small wreaths of braided blue stems. While embarrassed at how much she once admired her mother's brooches, she now fully blushes at her wish to own an ocean full of stone. Her friends repeatedly requested questions only furthers her hesitation, so she leaves a small note of explanation. Life is grossly inelegant in its demands that one must impatiently forget chores performed with red impressions left intact, from knots affixed to ankles and wrists as if the sores never existed. shock of copper curls, cerulean halos in his eyes, considers his environment, and with his shoulders pinned back, adjusts his balance and stands straight up in his raft. The one idea that has possessed him so vanishes out from his mind, pierces the sea, then its velocity escapes gravity, and reaches away past the sky, but he fears no lack of purpose, or whether this time has been meaningless. He has total devotion to the base truth of his vocation. His ankles give way, and he falls back gently, lands on his hands, while some water splashes in. He considers those who would deride his actions and thinks, I don't require any clothes. I'd rather remain naked for everyone. I felt watched when I first voluntarily gave away confidential information, then tried to explain the layout of San Antonio to a stranger who never knew I'd never been there before. And now, as minutes become limitless, any vows I made always sustained me. I felt watched when my thinking was clean and capable of strict reasoning, and I rode along freshly painted runways, left notes on license plates, brambles, and high chairs. And now, as lassitude disintegrates, any vows I made remain unchanged. I felt watched when my legs were bathed in heat, as persistent and unruly as a bat taunting a seal, repeatedly landing on its shoulder and squealing. And now, as fury impassively fades, any vows I made could never break. I felt watched when I attended 10 drawing classes and attempted to finish a full circle freehand without interference between thought and motion. And now that my hands are patient, any vows I made are everything. Here she flies, and now we know if the promises made more than 10 years ago have been kept. Here she flies, with 2 pens, rosary, brass paperweight, earrings, lockets, and measurements written on a business card. Here she flies, gums and hair receded, a miniature brace for a baby, wrapped in grayed, hardened plastic. Here she flies, with an oxygen tank bubbling ceaselessly, a UHF channel on the television showing an old western silently. Here she flies, while I stand with tentative confirmation, a glass of thickened water, and 3 empty white boxes. Here she flies, with skin like marble, over winding staircases and rooms with seafoam-colored walls and intimidating machinery. It's called Blue-Soaked Scepter. The kink in my neck that runs to my kidneys, distracting me from movies I've long since memorized and repeating quotations I've lived inside of, and I've no desire to rewrite history that doesn't concern me. When what I didn't know already felt familiar, when I saw the inscription on my commemorative plaque had been worn back to smooth silver. When I slipped behind the mist, changed clothes, washed my hands, and shaved, with no light and with no intention of anyone seeing my face for a while, I was willingly walked through a coal-stained city lot and deposited in the back seat of an already running, windowless army green car, which was then locked from the outside. Mary! Had I abandoned my practice, committed an indirect affront in my brief absence? My name is Keith. The beggar at my door raised his arm, but soft, while I listened to his parables that had no center. My name is Luke. With an auspicious mistress beside me, I looked at a baby looking out a window at fluttering street signs. My name is Julia. My temper was gentle as I read a sermon called, Are You Here to Celebrate the Death of Death? My name is Giles. I wish that I'd been obscured when my ears were bitten with endearment while I was plainly ignored. My name is Grace. I was observed by 3 people whose accounts proved suggestible and fractured. My name is Abigail. I faced hard construction when I, in truth, spoke forcefully about my forged fingerprints. My name is Morgan. I spent twilight emptied, save for sketching a red tunic on bent paper. My name is Brooke. I was registered in a hotel under an assumed name and made lists of families I pitied. My name is Gabriel. I singed my hair and clothes trying to be recalled. The sky has been moonless for 29 nights. Why couldn't I stay? I was bothered by the way the streetlights hit the trees and reflected off the leaves. I took a knife and short length of rope. 6 hours later, I'm waiting for you to arrive, carrying a scepter and wearing a breastplate with frayed shoulder blades and exhausted eyes. I'm waiting for you to arrive, sitting cross-legged on the sodden deck with wayward souls who were barely seen. I leapt off the ledge and was soon out of haunt as I climbed the concave shores, wondering if I should forage, catch a gudgeon, or eat unbruised fruit that had fallen. The gravelly guttered soil gave way to encroaching forest dense with rows of weighted, wet purple limbs that succumbed to gravity and wind. Then abruptly, I was in the center of a champaign, and the only objects I found were short rows of tree stumps and stones, each carved with the query, "What made you look here?" I jounced away into the odd even and was again pursued by the thicket's reach. The thorns licked my calves, the anthill shone like pebbled glass. I brushed past a frog with a violet tongue and discolored teeth, who gulped for relief, while his body remained static like a splayed thread in aspic. I made my way into the antres and found myself prating, "Prithee, pray tell what you remember of working your hands into the mud and feeling it curl under your fingernails." It feels like a relic reunited with its original setting after having been lost or only seen in a dream. Betimes I glanced around for the traveling lamp while standing beside the curvature, hearing myself call the datelessly abandoned vizards, and leasing and be faithfully young-eyed. I returned once more to the champagne and sat among the stones in silence. I received no visions or visitations, no inspiration to invent an incantation, and in this vacuum of communication, I only experienced the sense, or perchance suggestion, of the imposing press of eras and atmosphere. And now I noticed this restless weather, shy beams of sunlight moving sideways through the strings of remaining rain. Still looking good. Called Dancing with the Skeleton Key. I'm dancing with the skeleton key pinned under my belt the night after I'd had two simultaneous dreams, an ocular split screen, one where a white-tailed fawn galloped to my front door and another where my brother couldn't sleep. I'm dancing with the skeleton key tied on a twine cord around my neck, remembering when my sister was locked in a minivan and stranded in a parking lot outside of Austin. She kissed the windows and ate the tape in the cassette deck. I'm dancing with a skeleton key in my unopened mouth, tucked behind my wisdom teeth and obscured by my tongue. I still have memories that my sister won't believe, and I miss the 20th century. It could have been so much better. I'm dancing with a skeleton key scotch taped to my arm. When I was in school, the vice principal gave himself a heart condition trying to figure out who had stolen from the convenience store, then boasted about it on the blackboard. I'm dancing with a skeleton key in the grotto of a dilapidated Catholic church where the priest once confessed to me that after each funeral he performed, the only way he could raise his spirits was by making uneasy music with the organist. I'm dancing with a skeleton key, concealed in an alley, while bells chime at midnight near the railroad, and kids with no curfew dodge between dashing headlights on their way to play hide-and-seek in the park. I'm dancing with a skeleton key laid on the floor of a garage while my brother draws out diagrams on poster boards, connecting lines from consequences of thoughts to isolated islands of thinking divided by unintentional regression of actions. I'm dancing with a skeleton key while I'm safe at home, looking at sealed bags of clothes I stopped wearing years ago while I was running for mayor on an unconfirmed platform of leaking information about the governor. I'm dancing with a skeleton key in an adjacent office because the evidence my brother uncovered just got delivered to the lawyer, and he predicts it will make the judge jump and remove any condemnation from his mouth. I'm dancing with a skeleton key in a strip mall that used to be a swimming pool, and before that a man-made hill that covered demilitarized waste trucked over from a Floridian base, and it will still take 100,000 years before any of it reaches its half-life. I'm dancing with a skeleton key clasped tightly in my hand as I watch my sister in the mirror speak sentences with only one word and plant orchids next to power lines in the backyard. Then she dots the driveway with empty jars to accurately measure the rainfall. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in my pocket, moving loosely with me My brother used to cry bitterly to our parents every time he got a ticket, refuting each offense, denying that he did any of it. I'm dancing with a skeleton key, sliding uncomfortably in my shoe. But the nuisance helps give me the presence of mind to always hold up what I was taught, that when the rent is due, it's better to be full and well slept than to simply hand over a blank check. I'm dancing with a skeleton key pressed into a book, watching Leaves in the Wind, and a novelist at a press conference performing fake sign language, hoping it will get him the attention he wants for trying to revive the printed word. It's called Slibo to China. Excuse me. The razor skin fell on the seat. The roof had been gouged out by a key. The exits were guarded. A few numbers written down, typed all in the power. Let's start over. The razor skin fell on the seat. The roof had been gouged out by a key. The exits were guarded. A few numbers were written down, all typed out in a foreign language, all the product of inflation. The casino's slot machines paid out with surf music in a 20-minute ring. The plumber knocked on the last room of the far wing and was tipped with uneaten meat. I keep trying to leave, but I only get more inside. I made it out of the garage only to be stuck behind a foreigner with $1,000 hubcaps on a $50 car. A girl climbed up the mic and before she got numb asked them how they could stand the climate. She was from California, never was snowed on, didn't get stopped by trains, 20 miles to 5 miles, then down to 3, ranging from dour to catatonic to irate. Can't tell a building from a train. Everyone drives through except for me, though. I stopped the frame. I took the wrong exit driving into the marching band display and wrote my senator complaining to his face. He wrote back saying, "Yes, son, it's about time we did things your way." Everyone's an altar boy looking for a lampshade to make straight, some Sunday spending money, a free robe, a thimble out of the river because they made their case. Trees grow faster in the city according to the study. The nutrients depleted my body. No electricity is going to open that door. Ice is slow and not enough to keep my attention. Everyone acting like an altar boy, dragging their disagreements into the streets, stopped, slow and coy, using their vestments for sheets. A few quick turns and pleas for a reward, but the holding cell is empty and I don't choose to open it today. I paid to replace the battery and cancel my appointments. The dentist charged me a late fee. The neighbor watched his lawn instead of TV. And here's the moral of the story. I put my dinner in a glass and filled it with water, drank half and left the rest. I threw in some safety pins to see how fast they'd rust, and after 6 months, there were still no results. All right. This is many different types of abuse of power. This talks about one in order to talk about another. This is called Would You Sell the Relics? The general that only cares about tomorrow also expects everyone to echo the same expression, and when the general can no longer see the power of their influence, they try and exert control over any small circumstances under their command, while the brigadier general worries to no one if they need a transfusion. The colonel, who's concerned that not enough people's fingerprints matches theirs, requires a warning on the front page of each report along with a summary cut together by a subordinate in a matter of minutes so they don't have to waste any energy generating contradictory thoughts, while the captain enters their coordinates so their location is known and updated every moment, which leaves the captain free to make discoveries like the wheel or gravity, then sell their findings to the executives or campaign staff of their choice, urged by a strong sense of benevolence, a tribute to charity as a force. And the first lieutenant's unmatched love of history is proven by the pictures taken of their parents with Goebbels in Brazil in the 70s. And the second lieutenant's jealousy shows and grouses to one, "That's not Goebbels, it's clear it's Martin Bormann." The sergeant major that reset the standards of esprit de corps doesn't know the panic they'll feel a few short years later when they are urged out of the way, or that they'll become stiff with resentment and resolute in their calls for punishment and institute measures to monitor how the company behaves. While the staff sergeant writes on a photo of themselves, "The future belongs to you," and daydreams about collecting the remaining virginities from the sorority house down the road, and they already have the names, ages, and weights in a frequently updated database. Then the staff sergeant complains about commercials before content. The chief warrant officer who breaks ranks to research the order the alphabet was created in gets rueful about seeing themselves age and attending charity events, funerals, and hospital visits, seeing their face in the mirror more washed out than before, wondering as they write their commencement address, who will even be paying attention in the audience? Drinking from puddles, seeing what the sky says, not being able to read handwriting as children they received a puzzle in the mail. And to the private, it's all an eye roll, and all so boring and shallow. To see another round of legacy shut out by an offhand remark. The private doesn't ask any of the officers where they should start. What's the matter where rebellion is kitsch and trauma is Walmart? The specialist greets the private. They each think the other is a dilettante. And later the specialist considers, what's the matter where you have 1,000 followers and not a dozen supporters? Would you sell the relics? I think we'll do the... This is the entire White Apple saga. That's spread across 2 books. Maybe we won't. Technical problems, huh? There we go. Sorry about the delay. All right, this is the entirety of White Apple. The audience glares. The audience is alone. Projected onto the cities, moving mouths, upside down, silent, cement, struggles for breath, lets the water run, walks in a stilted, failing gait. The water runs in the documentary, behind the page, a lesson in taking what you need, wanting to know, so bad, so bad, so thirsty, so eager for the seed. Roman columns, deep shadows, buttressed arches, fallen collective breach, eyes cast upon the outer circles, eyes cast upon the oval rings over the sea, eyes cast on eternity, eyes cast on maternity. Then across the alley, across the street, he can see cracks in the statue's feet. He crashed his car against a building, against a lamppost, fluttering fingers ivory, dancing around darting mercury. The survivalist juts forward, head leering off the shoulders, sees the wet walkways glistening, over-enunciates to nobody listening. His face an impression in plaster, refers to a thought he had earlier, but it's too austere to articulate. He's had too much sugar to hold his hands straight. As the glass carton breaks, he collapses, the cream running parallel over his veins. The audience on stage, the public face encased in a clear plastic capsule with evenly explained rules typed on an eggshell card displayed underneath. Each remark catalogued and critiqued, each dismal dismissal a prized antique. Washed clean when the day ran dry, the only dot in the satellite sky, the audience needing permission, needing drink, needing oxygen again. The combination hidden in international waters, the shadow shining on the light. Everything in plain sight secret, a camera on its tripod, spinning a circular angle, a code transferred, captured, held by an ascending angel. All are welcome, but come open-handed, without guests or family. You'll enter easier naked, and your intentions won't be mistaken. Jagged rocks under the rushing river, which lead to the lake. The scene is a remake, a three-point star shape superimposed with stretching hands, making a cityscape, and cold exhaling, creating hovering clouds. Silent! Take out the sound. I want to hear the rushing. I want to hear the pounding. I want to hear the happening. After the action, the empty air in my ears. I want to hear the flying birds make their calls. Hear the echo reverberate off ancient stone walls. You become naked with ivory skin, face like an alabaster wedding ring. Grow and live in a green-tinted glass tower with marble accents. You know the leftover, unhealed scars of the ancients. You can taste the dead Romans in the ground when you eat the cloves of garlic, cold fingers in a clean line of events, little pencil marks under the map, lotus position on the floor, side of your head laying in ice water, fresh sage on the bell, and in your pocket, a jade pendant, lantern, match earrings, a lone cigarette, a farthing and a sixpence, a plan to go to the States but not sure what dimes and nickels are worth yet, or where to find Wyoming on a map, but that's a question at best for the solicitor, or a prayer to the lace maker. You have the relics, word came from the pontiff, an aged tooth now black as onyx. You become naked, with ivory skin, face like an alabaster wedding ring, in a penthouse apartment filled with ferns, studying a blue flame, or the serrated edge of the ancients who built the park you gaze out at. Boys and girls, climbing a ladder, preparing a crown that they will wear, if they choose, they can share, looking out at the Khyber Pass, buying a cart with supplies to last. Heat production, carving a chair before the mold hardens, pressing stones into the floor of the garden, removing the spikes from the ocean. Two twin conversations without a sound. Ripple effect, the rings spread over the gown, their bodies, the sun and stars barely touching, beginning of the day, reflection eyes, every moment in exchange of an inspired surprise. Boys and girls. My front door. There was a knock. Didn't open up even a tiny crack. I said, go away from here and never come back. But that was an illusion. I know a servant in her master's house. She walks around, head tilted up in arousal and awe. She never plans to come out. She's quiet like a nail in the wall, slides her face down the granite on the fireplace to calm herself after roaming the limestone banquet hall. She is of far greater virtue than those she sold her name to. She never stops speaking in an inaudible hum, turns the ringer off on the phone. She said to me that I could be a great actuary. I said, why? And she replied, well, in your soul and out of their cells, you know that people can't save themselves. Celeste, plucking out notes. Your voice enters, both leaping the octave up. I never need to find you. I see you everywhere I look. Every flower petal, every blade of grass is another detail of your face, your flesh. You sit at the piano and play simple chords, ascending, and as the sustain fades, the tones are slightly bent, but each note you've picked is one of the elements. You're lighting up this room without even realizing it. You write down that I is another. Your electricity. You make me. She asked her, what do you think of the shower? She said, it's beautiful. Warm, warm. Ivory lady, how I want to know you. And she said she could drink every drop, but she shouldn't say anything is beautiful because she doesn't know you. She's never seen you, not even a picture. It's true. You make me. It'll take 7 minutes to tell you about how sometimes I feel like a vampire. I take your feelings, your moments, feel them deeper than you did, make you think you're insincere. Is that so bad? I don't know. You make me. I run. You've always been free. You're so smart, smarter than I am. Maybe that's what I believe because I've never seen you stop and think. It simply is. Forwards, and you can be in reverse. I think your mind is maybe the most beautiful thing. But then your eyes. I rewrite the list all the time. Heaven's choir is harmonizing for you right now. Can you hear them? Can you feel the reverberations gently hold your body? What they're singing, only 1 in 30,000 could ever even understand it. Further words fail me. I just want to watch from my window and think about the falling rain, rest my head and see your grace. I'll be back to you in just a moment. I have to change subject for a second. The cloud drizzled down today, only followed by the most incredible vacuum of quiet, a right shock of silence, and up from about a paused minute was the first truly joyful noise we'd heard in a long while. To us alive on earth, a celeste plucking out notes. Warm, warm, let's kiss. You make me. This is going with the white theme. Not really a theme. This is white cello, and it's about the burden of being God's chosen vessel. Take the white envelope next to your right hand. Give it to me. Talk to me. I'm in the open window. I'm not in time, but I've got your watch, and I need to learn to play this white cello. Scratch the surface. I'm on the shore with a can of sugar. It's never bitter. I'd really rather be playing, though. I like the white strings and the white bow. That's not her. That's her, was the simplest thing you said today. I'm still reeling with no moments except now. You don't possess any microscope, so I will take the telescope. I'm trying to be angelic, which isn't easy after getting desensitized with disappointments every night, eating fresh vegetables, but planning, you already know, and then you talk me out of it. You don't have a pistol in your waistcoat, your teeth aren't flecked with flax seeds, my misjudgments are my own, and most are unknown, but just because I'm a pacifist doesn't mean just anyone can fucking abuse me. And speaking of myself, notice me! I'm standing next to the tree where the guy crashed the stolen car, then got out and ran for it. But I can behave for over 100 days, and I've squandered my efforts and so much goodwill that I sometimes still need to convince myself that I should try to take lessons to play at all. But I'm sure that you want me to, and I know what I can do. And with that, we're not missing anything. We're humming songs through the phone. We're midnight movers. We're holy rollers without a religion, right, Kristen? No, we're not. And you'll be that guy on the bike in the right lane racing for his life against rush hour traffic in the morning. I know you are, and you know that I care, and I feel like I'm Clark Kent dressed in primary colors, and I just haven't taken off my glasses yet. She said, as long as it's not evil. And I said, I cannot be evil. Certainly not right now. But it's the rising sun. It's a hard-boiled egg. It's basil. It's a blue charm. I just want to play the white cello. I just want to sit in a circle and think about it some more. So we're going to wrap this up, or are we going to test people's patience? No, I'm thinking out loud. It's warm communication. That's what I'm talking about. So instead, I'm going to change some channels. Porters, nickels, and all sunbathers must be wearing a blue suit. The slants are cut off. You go to Wisconsin's cut off and cut off your slants. It'll be a reverse safari where they put lions, cheetahs, and tigers in a truck and drive around and show them people shopping or walking down the street and pumping gas. It'll be the apex of manifestation. It won't be in the Bible, but it'll be like the Bible. It'll be a suburban safari where some guy named Greg gives you a little pith helmet and plastic binoculars, and you can wait under his kitchen table for the cat to use the litter box. But why does it gotta be white? Never heard from before. Advertising space available. Clean, clear water. And of course, the tastiest tomatoes. And well, that we might as well. It's really fucking my momentum up. I've been living like the whole FBI died in a Kool-Aid mistake. I've been keeping a time bomb in my shoe so I know that my watch is correct. I got a tiger by the tail waiting for it to end tomorrow. I've been up all night burning my bridges, making jokes about ex-friends' fetishes. I won't tell you to hold on or say you don't deserve what you get and you won't ever see me take the first step. I got a tiger by the tail waiting for it to end tomorrow. I got a floorbird in the garage. I've been overstimulated. I've been sore. I got away alive and sane. I didn't get strangled or stained. I got away alive and sane. How are we doing out there? Doing good. Beautiful. Any requests? It's called wax fruit. Like a shift starting at 4 a.m. without benefits and security, they knew the ex-poet lied, or tried, and when he arises, smiles, and deeply breathes the morning air, he's filled with daylight. And his friends dream of him in heaven while he dreams of seeing faces in rock formations. Like the town crier lying supine on the floor next to an unplugged vibraphone, he imagines he's on a source mission to recover 93 rare fish from the Indian Ocean and having an unfolding series of unexplainable epiphanies bounce off his eyelids and into his ears, private collages whose messages leave him inarticulate and unwilling to even try to make sense to his most loyal admirers. Instead, he thinks about moving earth between his fingers, the smell of tomatoes on the vine in the humid summer morning, and pretending he's on a cold cement floor in a locker room where the janitor won't find him and he can think about his breathing and align all his impulses into an imperceptibly perfect balance. Around the pool, the wrestling raccoons eventually stopped to drink from a can of soup, while the deer in the reeds, the bats, and the trees watched, along with myself, smelling the stack of rice paper and chewing pulp, the lemon juice, in a simple accidental circle next to my pen and postcards from Nebworth. As my attention wandered, I was staring up, pensive and with little use for amusement, picturing my peers and their futures in wheelchairs, asking a physical therapist for help. In an hour of uncertainty, one could become fragile and feel safe in that space for years, repeatedly living out the fear of being put there again. We become fragile and lose sense of what's natural, become fragile and not recover what's hidden, become fragile and ignore colors in the spectrum, become fragile and wonder why we're living, become fragile and think there won't be redemption. The witness said she'd never seen the like of you before, the rumpled polka dot dress, the mismatched flats stretched wide across your feet, the misapplied makeup drawing an eye away from the razor burn and stubble marking your white legs, the thin black wig framing your face, but mostly, of course, the chipped front tooth smile of your uncontrolled jubilance as you skip down the staircase. But in that moment, it was unbeknownst to you that your associates had missed, and while you carried out the planned exit, your target had already given you all the slip. And though there were theories around the handling of the case, despite strict orders, the tapes were never erased. It's called I Walk with God. I can walk freely and eschew contempt. I can walk freely and choose silence. I can walk freely and excuse secrets. It's a fact that people need to dream. Peace will come. I walk a path that circles around. I walk a path across the pattern. I walk a path that I didn't build. I add where I can. I walk a path that I keep clear. I walk a path that reconstitutes once it disappears. I walk with God. Through all my changes, during my happiness, and throughout my challenges. I walk with God. close to my memories, through my mistakes, past all my actions. I walk with God, for forgiveness, for resolution, to see the stages I play a role in. I walk with God, because I know it's easy to fall into false humility or declare your own authority. I walk with God, to try and understand as much as I can about the expanse of creation. I walk with God, because of the moments where I see serendipity and grace expressed so sublimely. I'm only here to accept my responsibility. I walk through a world I don't like, and as time went on, I felt more and more disconnection. I walk through a world I don't like, until I had almost complete separation of myself. I walk through a world I don't like, and this wasn't troubling. I thought it would help. I walk through a world I don't like, and that I could make a true observation and learn and improve. But I found that the obverse was true. I walk through a world I don't like, and the more I remained attached and considering the reflection, the more I became unnatural and obsessed with my own protection. Okay. Thought I had really screwed something up. It's called Allison with a blue sea and icebergs on. She's ice cream, and there she's down the hall. She uses words like everything and all. I can hear her, but I can't make out her features. I know she spends her weekends in a cement cinema making notes. The girl next to her tries to see what she wrote. Allison wonders why the guy in the elevator keeps glancing at her and why the weather keeps jumping between rain and sun every 30 minutes. She keeps saying, "Quit asking me questions. I'm innocent." As people assume she's joking, Allison wonders, what are the windows thinking on a day where there's a white line down the center of the sky? Her mind cuts back to the guy with a quick, "Look at me, look at you, we're equals." Allison wonders if she can keep hiding while knowing that they're following me. Allison writes, "What started as hopes are now observations, mostly about nature, and being young stops being fascinating once it's done." Allison looks down at her bowl of spinach, and her eyes focus down on the details of one leaf, and she quietly speaks. An atheist sees this and can only think of the mud that it grows from. Allison writes, "We extend grace out of our own sense of grace," and smiles because she's not sure if that's something of her own or something she's half remembering from 2 or 3 incarnations ago. Allison considers why her back and hands are so slippery when she's invisible, and then tells her sister, "My tongue is a graffiti sponge. I wonder if I'll have to make love in front of a judge." Allison considers that she's a character who looks and acts exactly like her, then draws a bath with the lights off. Allison invites her guests to walk barefoot while cherries and red confetti float out of her phone. Allison considers emptying cash registers if the security cameras lose power. But what she mostly wants are completely natural segues with no artificial blends. So with that, make thoughts your aim or nerve blaming when all meet with you at your beginnings, but make allowances for their worn-out tools and make dreams a trap for fools after they are gone. This is one that I normally don't do, but I am going to because I think that it needs to be done. So, and really, that is the point of all of this, right? This is the work that needs to be done. So, you know, it is a vocation. So, this is, you know, this is about, well, I won't say what it's about. What I will say is, There are ways to slip around the tank. Whatever that tank is. And everybody stands in front of one at some point, either in this life or another life. So there are ways around it. This is perhaps details of one of them. This is called Conspiracy of Silence. Ultimately, it's about freedom. We walk by each other on the street. We never met, but there's still a blink of recognition. We enter the plane. We're flying over England, viewing from behind the wings, seeing St. George's Cross spread over the aisles to the carriage of the Queen. It's a conspiracy. 35mm slow motion shot of Bernini's St. Longinus. Who wrapped it round and hung the wires that had been laid at the feet of the Empire? Ever picked up that call? Ever read those books in the basement? We walk by each other on the street. We don't know each other and we do not speak. I roll my eyes and you repeat the conversation from a passing taxi. It's a conspiracy? Your family had donated a house to the National Trust. Are those your cards on the nightstand? Is that your glass of wine? Would you like some privacy? Blue, green, we are water, etching lines and rocks, running diagonal patterns on the face of the clock, blurring the note on the windscreen, a pristine, steady stream, or drops from the sky echoing to your mouth, and you need to ask? Wondering like your feet are on fire and these are your first steps in the bath. A murmur, a moan, and you need to ask? Ever write the unread sentence? Did you walk around in Oxford? Ever feel the fog touch your curled hair in the everlasting afternoon? All my dreams, all my dreams, all my dreams are in blue and green. The herring was red. I sleep on a purple bed with fresh white sheets. It's a conspiracy. With a wink of complicity, I can slip right in. An inside improvisation. No, a pantomime playing at the Museum of the Mind. It's easy, it's instant, it's open if you want it. And I want in. Does it diverge from memory? It's a conspiracy. Did the blue dog climb your stairs? What kind of candy was it? When did you take it? Was it dark chocolate-covered cherries? It's a conspiracy. Like the lilting willow, we walk from window to window. We don't know each other. The tempered glass is salt water in our hands. I think I need to give thanks. I think I see a lantern you're holding out of the ground and more like the weeping wall curled into a ball and newly resolved. It damn sure ain't a pantomime. It's a mystery. It's a conspiracy. Ever swing on the gutter like a vine? Ever fly over the jungle in a silver plane and see it wet with rain? Did you ever hear that song the lyricist couldn't find the words for but had a flowing melody more uplifting than Nearer My God to Thee? No crying tonight, and you think it's a conspiracy? Ever wear the colorblind red? Ever read the unwritten sentence? We walk by each other on the street. You've seen me, I don't know you, and we don't speak. There's an open hand above your head, but it's an optical illusion from the clouds without sound. It's your secret to keep. It's a conspiracy. Was that you on the balcony? What did he say? The painting. Did you find it confusing? Think it lacks meaning? But look, right to left, not center down. It's all one scene. Do you see it now? It's a conspiracy. Hey, Gregory, we got ways of getting people to talk, too, but who can be bothered to listen when you can bite your lip and tap your fingernails on the scissors? Who wants to listen when they... It's a conspiracy. You heard me, and you made me admit your moment, your Pyrrhic victory. Can I have this dance? It's a conspiracy. We walk by each other on the street. We see each other. We don't speak. Your fingernails are blue. Your lipstick is green. The leather on your boots is frayed at the seams. I know that in your dreams, you're still 15 with a stolen cigarette you nicked from the vending machine. The lung branches are soaked, and your bubble perm is fast falling. And wouldn't it be funny if your interior life from now on is just this moment endlessly repeating? Same photograph on the wall mistaken for a mirror. And you can identify, you can empathize, but you can't know what on earth. We see each other on the street. Duke Ellington, East St. Louis plays the theme. Cast iron boat. Sterling Silver Symphony. We don't know each other. You start to speak, but it's drowned out by the man with the loudspeaker and the papers proselytizing all about his religious beliefs. It's like we're curators, caretakers, something we never saw, never knew, but understand purely on instinct and instant assimilation, empathy, ecstasy, impressions of the senses. We are the examples it is ours to not let the charted land that gives us food to eat and water to drink, a place to walk and live, vanish in clouds, or become a stranger that we're only hearing clashing tongues and react with a stance that turns wretched, frozen, and cavalier. We will reach and remain unlabeled, walk free in the community, fly over and under unanimity. We are the examples. We trace the dim signal. We will remain enthralled and observe the entrance and relics and with rituals without. Then he used to kiss her often on her when you talk to the clouds. Can you? When you talk to yourself. Father's mother. 7 flowers on 7 stars on the chest of the Creator. We realize what is within and outside of all of us, what's invisible to the eye and eludes our touch. We understand the light inside the image obscures the image inside the light. The red and blue, the blue and the green. You never sleep. We can see you dream. It's a conspiracy. Someone said to me, you see a chair as it is, but when you burn the chair, you see the chair and your head did not burn or disappear. I see you on the street. You walk forward and ask me about the play I'm staging or film I'm making. You know definitely it has 7 scenes. I wouldn't know about that because I'm not into numerology. Surely you're joking. Is it improvised or have you been rehearsing? Are all of your actors established? Well, we're not anonymous, but it's all true, all done in secret, and we might just not let in an audience. We will walk out of the auditorium in absolute quiet, single file, without a hidden, illicit recording to prove it was a staged event. Motor oil on a block of ice, river of fire where a miracle was denied. She said she would open her kitchen, but later passed the sentence on the wall, pointed at the words and said, that's not my opinion. Pastor Corbett asked, then why the fuck did you accept the call? Filtered water poured carefully on the top of a block of ice and seeping down the slanted floor slowly toward the recording device, for whom no secrets are hid. I'll believe this one thing even if the rest of the list is lies, until we crystallize straight to heaven. Loretta's address scrawled in the back of the book of names, crossed out and replaced with a charcoal drawing from a cave. It's a conspiracy, just like those articles she never read because the editor said they were written without beginning or end. It's a conspiracy, of course. They're sitting in a circle, a celebration among friends, sharing your favorite passages out of a blank book, closed circle making notations on the pages with a candle wick. The chandelier hangs beautifully, laughter sparkles, and the champagne from the cellar under the cellar is free. Yes, it is a conspiracy. You walked in, I woke up. We were docked outside Oyster Bay on a mutual friend's houseboat. You arranged the table, gave a long look, and said, I'll give you good reason to take away my right to vote. We saw each other on the street, eyes looking at the stoplight intently, drinking coffee that smells like crayons. The guy next to me on his iPhone reads, intimations of infidelity were a red herring. Me and the guy selling streetwise laugh at his timing. Must be a counselor, apparently, or a confidence man, or a trial lawyer playing fast and forgetful with the facts, or a city planner changing his mind with each plastic passing glance. We're walking out of Preston, zipping up your leather jacket. When you said you laid nude with your adversary, I know how it happened. You accepted the invitation, met in the garden, rested your heads on the stone wall that runs the perimeter. Did you pay rapt attention when the nightingale told his fairy tale? Did you ache in the silent seconds of the confession? You see me on the street. I see what's in your hands. Our eyes do not meet as people walk out of Walgreens. You ask, did you pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you? Do you bless those who curse you? I'll tell you this. It's a conspiracy. The morning mass was busy ignoring any message that wasn't theirs. It's a conspiracy. Was that a sneer? We know. She was standing on a corner in South London under a red umbrella on a sunny day, gold necklace and a gold waist chain. Do you have a title? Yeah, but I can't tell you. Why can't you tell me? Because it's pre-verbal. Look, can I take what I need? Please. I said to her. She said to me, I'm your sister and you just don't know it. Not a martyr, a seer, not an abandoned spirit. Is this Don Giovanni? It's a conspiracy? I hailed a limousine. We walk by each other on the street. We've never met. I know what kind of fruit you eat. I have no ambition. You're trying to get my attention by throwing a flag on the feet of the gentleman delivering a block of marbled meat with a business card tucked neatly in the wrapping, 7 numbers in blue ink over the lettering. Did you count the columns around the building? 34 in a perfect circle. Ever been to the top floor, skip school one morning and take the tour? We walk by each other on the street. You're carrying a painting. We won't speak. I don't sleep. You cannot dream. You walk up to the white door and wait for access. You left a book on your desk. The cover was worn, but the binding was torn. But you like the questions it asks. Razor cuts. How many songs can you sing in the sun? How long is the transmission? 7 flowers on your chest. It's not for lack of trying. It's a conspiracy. You walked in an oval. You thought over each permutation of images' meaning. You looked through the stainless steel window and down to the streets. Then you looked at me. It's a question of genealogy. We speak to each other. We do not see each other. The question, they looked at you, they looked at me. It's a conspiracy. Beautiful. This is called Everyone. Too late in the evening, 7:45. That man around the corner lost his ring in a fight. Here comes St. Thomas walking through the door, found himself an auction, bought everything on the floor. I don't wake up too early, I don't cut my face, I don't call any strangers, and I don't look for their graves. Everyone gets half of what they want and half of what they don't, half of what they couldn't and half of what they won't. Pork chops in the kitchen above the sink, there's a light, no milk on the table for a blink of an eye. Up the road is a driveway where they come out paid. Yeah, they come out smiling, dead cats in their way. Everyone gets half of what they want and half of what they don't, half of what they couldn't and half of what they won't. This is 2 Franciscan Nuns. Chewing mint leaves while crossing the Calumet River. The paper mill's exhaust pipes interrupt the vista. Mules weighted with surge protectors, hairspray, and cassettes. A riverboat of morphine-addicted ghosts out over there on the left. 2 Franciscan nuns wanted to build a hospital but settled for organizing games of chance. In their hotel rooms, they squeeze out extra acidic orange juice and excommunicate people with unpleasant names from the phone book. 2 Franciscan nuns helped decorate an admiral in the pensioner's home after he'd misplaced his uniform. They blessed his pills, kissed his parakeet, and as he slept, gathered sets of his false teeth to sell at the swap meet. A brain with blood and oxygen is better than a fish who talks. What some people see as skin discoloration is in fact the natural pigmentation when viewed from inside. Some newspapermen have always known this and have nothing to hide. Okay. All right, we're going to do one that I haven't ever done before, so hopefully this goes well. It's called I Walked Across Rivers. I rise up early in royal blue. I play a horn. I crack an egg. I'm slicing apples. The sun is everywhere. I'm listening to the wind. The name is truth. Beyond birth, after death, and the mass of the universe. Love in a wave that strikes through each of the elements. The name is truth, cause of the soul, trying to love the opposite when it seems impossible. Love in a wave that strikes through each of the elements. In an unbroken space, a thin, still stream of light. From the candle onto the wall, a slight, strong beam through the window shines on the feathers and floor. Antique, white, and warm. The flame sustains its form. Across the banks of flowers, bursting yellows, violets, and reds, sitting in a circle surrounded by avocados, beads, and eggs. White Russian peasant shirts deflecting hot summer sun. Cold water in everyone's hands. Talking about buying an island near France. We are here. We live for truth and beauty. We live together in peace. Peace for you and me. peace for everyone and everything. We live free. We live free. We are creators of peace. We are together here, and now we are free. We want peace forever, for everything. Crickets still sawing tiredly from the night just gone, quails on the cables cooing their gentle song. Bells in the distance signal the emerging morn. The air escapes our mouths where the words once were. We find we're suspended in place. Our anywhere is forever. We're transparent today. We're transparent today. Even when we walk past mirrors, even running through rivers. The air is thin and sits in a box made of plastic and clearly marked. We write words in the steam, words like clear and light and sea, and trace triangles with our fingernails. The air is our departure and entry, from sleeping and waking, from dreaming to contemplating, and what we choose to do tomorrow when we talk to you. We're transparent today. We're transparent today. Even when we walk under the sun and people hear the song we've sung. Peace for you and me. Peace for everyone and everything. Peace is not naive. Peace is knowing. Peace for everyone and everything. Peace is knowing. Peace for everyone and everything. We have come here. I know you, and I know your name. I know the twin sisters with two eyes. I have known the daughters of the two truths. You have known the daughters of the two truths. Praise, rise. In truth, we are together here. Sing, celebrate. I have destroyed wickedness for you. You have destroyed wickedness for me. We have not committed evil. We have not oppressed members of our family. Rise, praise, sing together, here. We have not brought evil to the place of right and truth. I have had no knowledge of useless men. I have brought about no evil. We have brought about no evil. You have brought about no evil. Praise, rise. I did not rise in the morning and expect more than was due to me. I have not brought my name forward to be honored. You do not seek to be honored. Rise. I have no servants. I have not scorned nature. I have not defrauded the poor. Sing together. Sing together here. I have not caused pain. We have not caused pain. I have not brought hunger. I have made no one weep. You have made no one weep. Rise. Rise. Praise. I have not killed. I have not given the order to kill. I have never been ordered to kill. You have not killed. We have not killed. Praise. Rise. Sing together. Here. I have not inflicted pain. I have not polluted myself. I have not stolen the land of others. We have not stolen the land of others. Rise. Sing together. I have not stolen milk from the mouths of children. I have not held back the water when it should flow. I have not put out a fire when it should burn. Sing together. Celebrate. Here. Rise. I have tried to be pure. We have tried to be pure. It's called Honeybee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like a coral pink butterfly heading to me. You're looking through your jeweled eyes. I'm waiting for your surprise. A birthday card, an aquarium hung on the wall. A memory in a vein swimming around. Arriving late to hear a favorite song. Flying, flying. Like a honeybee that counts the flap of its wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keeping everything else alive. Bubbles on the honeycomb coming together in unusually warm weather. Honeybee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keeping everything else alive. This is called Always, All the Time. Now then, now then, now then! The present is in the future. History is present. The future is present. The present is present. And history is history. We see the future pushed to the foreground wonderfully. All three, you and me. As wonderful Diane said, I hope our future is like flying birds. The weather is in the sea, gravityless moment dotted with cherry trees and colored pencils. There is very little in life that matches what I feel when you smile back at what I've whispered to you. We're in the room and out of nowhere, looking at the inlet together in letters and circles, like a slit in the curtain, like a fluttering bird ready to bathe, like an oxidized copper fountain. I want to be with you always, all the time, like a white shirt with a fresh grass stain, like a street light breathing air, like waving from the top of a ladder. You plan all the plans, always, all the time, like a strawberry on the counter, like fingernails washed clean, like a bee being curious of a new flower. You are adorable, always, all the time, like pickled ginger on salmon, like a workbench in the sun, like an invention imagined. We are here with each other, always, all the time, like a cat cornering a grasshopper, like a licked stamp pressed with a thumb, like a rectangle with unbroken corners. You are mine, I am yours, always, all the time. And now we're going to wrap up with a citizenship. Excuse me. It's easy for your mom to spend Friday night trying to lecture the TV while half asleep, continuously mumbling, let it all breathe, when she's not the one out there braving the wind, trying to walk across that wing with just a 4-foot stick of balsa wood to help her keep her balance. The Tsar's personal physician put the head of surgery in bed, called the staff around, and explained this could finally be the end, but he's really not certain because he's been just too depressed at the prospect. At least that's what you thought, he said, but you were quite distracted by the kissing couple out on the observation deck, and you got yelled at for sleeping during a meeting by the head of marketing, but you didn't feel any guilt as you explained that you had been sin-free since the night before, and the head of marketing agreed with you and closed the door and started rubbing your shoulders and whispering in your ear about opportunities for advancement. And the private still cannot figure out how to break ranks or how to help your mom fill out a loan application or get a new sticker for her license plates, and the two of you prepare for their weekend leave by getting hair extensions and hitchhiking back to the hospital. You've been reading diaries, you've been reading autobiographies, you've been writing out long treatises out on graph paper, you've been condescending to your enemies, you've been giving away easy answers that argue that there are no easy answers, you've been running forensics on untabulated statistics, you've been staring at a man buzzsawing down a tree thinking anyone but me, you've been miming in a marching band, not playing a single note all season, even when the judge shoves his tape recorder in the bell of your horn. You've been looking at the apple in your hand, hoping to know how you'll find another. And good Lord, you have stolen mail from your mother. You've been looking at a fence, thinking enough of this. You've been back to the hospital, staying after hours in the maternity ward, laying newly minted silver rectangles on newborns' chests. You've been counseling dry drunks. You're near to sovereignty and whoever picks apples for free. You've been painting large, unfinished arcs on your foyer walls while in expensive new clothes. You've been near to sovereignty and whoever spreads apple seeds for free. You've been barefoot while feeding skunks. You've been seeing your reflection in cardboard. Let it all breathe is the reminder that you whisper to yourself when you're out walking across the wing watching flotsam from Beechcraft Model 18s, amazed how machinery so heavy can defy gravity. Let it all breathe is the reminder that you whisper to yourself when you're out walking across the wing watching jettison pollution floating in the Indian Ocean in utter disbelief how the laws of nature can be defied so carelessly. You're a wing walker! Closer to sovereignty, closer to picking apples for free, closer to clashing the fence, closer to opening books. You're a wing wing walker, trying to make a future full of stars, wishing you weren't feeling so far. You're a wing walker, closer to sovereignty, closer to spreading apple seeds for free, closer to swimming naked, closer to learning languages. You're a wing walker, trying to make a future full of stars, wishing you weren't feeling so far, but they found me! Realistically resembling myself and fully alive in a different year. Questions were drawn to determine how I appeared there. I explained I went to sleep because I couldn't function being constantly awake. Theta waves turning back on themselves. Spindle waves with no chance to crest, and the slow waves never close to arriving. God fucking damn it. A wing walker craves immunity to maintain sovereignty, feeds on concentration to maintain sovereignty, brushes memories to maintain sovereignty. Theta waves are just the start. Spindle waves stand you straight up, and slow waves safely deposit you back on the shore. A wing walker needs clear vision and to be free of poison. You have to know where to turn on the lights before you go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep, go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. And that, folks, is another exciting edition of the Quarantine Stream. We hope that you've enjoyed it. Let us again hear the Quarantine Stream theme, shall we? Beautiful. So very beautiful. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for hanging in there. By the grace of God, we will be back next week. So until then, just remember, stay safe, stay smart, and stay free, because you already are. God bless. Good night. Bye, everyone.